Here's a question for you. If the government starts charging for every single ton of carbon your company releases, do you actually know how much that could cost you? It's a pretty big question, isn't it? And, well, here's the thing. This isn't some far-off maybe scenario anymore. It's rapidly becoming a real urgent issue, especially for decision makers like you right here in Malaysia. So today on the deep dive, our mission is simple. Cut through all the noise around carbon management. We want to give you a clear path, something actionable, so you can become really well informed on managing your company's carbon footprint. We'll be drawing insights from key reports and global standards. The goal is to empower you so you understand not just the what of all this, but the really crucial what next for your business.
Exactly. And, these discussions around carbon tax, carbon pricing mechanisms, they're not just whispers anymore in Malaysia. They're actually moving towards concrete policy discussions. Many people have heard the buzzwords, I think, but the practical what next? What does effective carbon management actually look like on the ground that can feel, well, a bit less clear? So this deep dive, hopefully, will shed light on those very steps, show you how your business can not only get ready for these changes, but maybe even thrive in this evolving landscape.
Okay, so let's tackle that core question then. Why act now? I mean, beyond just thinking about a potential future carbon tax, there's a really powerful business case for embracing sustainability today. Our sources to consistently point this out. Integrating sustainability isn't just about ticking a compliance box. It's actually about gaining a serious competitive advantage. We need to stop thinking sustainability is just, good PR or nice to have. What's really interesting is how it can attract top talent, especially younger people looking for purpose in their work. And that translates directly into a more innovative, more productive team for your company. Or think about costs. Lots of companies, just by carefully measuring their carbon footprint, they find amazing inefficiencies, things they never saw before. So compliance suddenly turns into, well, potentially massive savings. It's not just a feel-good thing, it's strategic. There was a UN Global Compact and Accenture study. Really fascinating. It found that a huge 93% of CEOs see sustainability as absolutely critical to their company's future success. 93%. That's quite a number, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And what's really striking, particularly here in Malaysia, when you look at our carbon market, it's the sheer scale of the missed opportunity, maybe, or untapped potential. Right now in Malaysia, we've issued less than 1 million tons of CO2 equivalent in carbon credits from projects. Over the last 5 years, that is. Now let's compare that. Our neighbors. Indonesia, around 87 million tons. Cambodia, roughly 43 million tons. Thailand, about 17 million tons. All in the same time frame. You see the gap. It's huge. And this isn't just a shortfall. It's this incredible potential for growth right here. A chance for Malaysian companies to lead, generate new revenue, attract green investment, things our competitors are already doing.
That is a massive difference. Wow.
Yeah.
And it really highlights why we need faster growth and clearer demand signals. Here's the issue, right? When you have established compliance carbon markets, the kind that let businesses use qualified carbon credits for regulations, they can seriously boost the whole ecosystem. Service providers for emission reduction projects, for example. But the sticking point now, it seems to be a lack of clear, consistent rules. We need agreement on how credits from voluntary markets fit into compliance markets. And clarity on cross-border trading, too. If we could clarify those links, it would send really powerful demand signals out there, create a much stronger environment for these vital projects to actually happen and succeed.
And that brings up a really important point. How do we actually finance this growth? People in the market have mentioned that insufficient financing and maybe a lack of expertise for these carbon projects is a major hurdle. So that's the challenge, right? Project developers need to connect with more diverse funding sources, not just local banks, but global institutions, investment funds, grants. The good news, though, is that our local financial institutions are stepping up. They're actively building their skills to finance these projects. Often, they're partnering with international institutions who already have that experience, building those bridges.
Okay, so we've talked about the why and the bigger picture, but I bet the main question for many of you listening is, okay, how do I do this? How do I even start measuring my company's carbon output? And that's where we get into the nuts and bolts of carbon accounting. You need a solid framework, and this is where global standards are just indispensable. One of the key ones for organizations is ISO 140641. It's a global standard, well-recognized, providing very specific guidance on quantifying and reporting your greenhouse gas emissions, GHG emissions, and removals. At the company level, think of it as the foundational map.
Exactly. That's precisely what ISO 14064-1 helps you do. It's like a comprehensive guide for building your GHG inventory. It walks you through defining your boundaries, organizational, operational, basically drawing clear lines around what you're measuring. Then it guides the actual quantification, measuring the emissions, and any removals too. What's really important is that using the standard boosts the environmental integrity, the credibility, consistency, transparency of your data. All that makes it much easier to develop real effective GHG management plans. It gives you a structured, verifiable way forward. And here's a critical point. If you want to publicly claim you conform to this standard, you absolutely need independent third-party verification or validation that's covered in ISO 140643. It's like getting a professional audit for your carbon numbers ensures credibility.
Okay, so when we're measuring all this, what are the really core principles we need to follow to make sure the data is actually reliable and, usable? There must be some ground rules.
Absolutely. Think of these core principles: relevance, completeness, consistency, accuracy, and transparency. They're like the pillars holding everything up. Non-negotiables for credible data. If your data isn't relevant, maybe you missed key emission sources. Or it's not complete, you ignored a whole part of your operation. Then any decision based on that data is, well, fundamentally flawed. It's like trying to navigate KL traffic with only half the map. Consistency is vital too. Lets you compare results over time, show actual progress. Accuracy means minimizing errors, ensuring the data is dependable. And transparency, that means documenting everything clearly, your assumptions, how you measured your data sources. Together, they ensure a fair, credible account.
That makes total sense. A solid foundation for solid data. Now, thinking about specific projects like under ISO 140642, what does that look like in practice? How do you measure the impact of, say, one particular initiative?
Right. At the project level, the first step is crucial. Identify and select all the relevant GHG sources, sinks, and reservoirs. Think of these as anywhere GHGs are produced, absorbed, or stored within the project scope. Then you have to determine a clear GHG baseline. That's basically figuring out what emissions would have been without your project happening. You quantify emissions and removals separately for your actual project and for that baseline scenario. The reductions are then calculated by comparing the two. But what's really key here, and sometimes misunderstood, is additionality. Think of it this way. It ensures your carbon reductions are genuinely new, something extra that wouldn't have just happened anyway. So if you just replace old light bulbs with efficient ones because the old ones burned out, well, that's probably not additional. But if you invest in a totally new energy-saving process that goes beyond normal practice or legal requirements, that's likely additionality. It's about proving real impact.
That additionality point is so important for proving genuine change. And it's good to see Malaysia is also being proactive, supporting businesses through this shift. Bank Negara Malaysia, B&M, seems really committed. They're focused on financial stability that supports sustainable growth, and they've been very active in building the financial sector's resilience to climate risks. That's great leadership.
Indeed. And something particularly noteworthy is coming up soon. In 2025, Malaysian financial institutions will conduct their very first industry-wide climate risk stress testing exercise. This isn't just theory, it's a major practical step, embedding climate thinking into core financial operations. And to get ready, B&M actually partnered with the World Bank. They ran intensive workshops to equip the industry. This collaboration really highlights how important and complex climate risk assessment is becoming for the whole financial sector here. Climate risk is financial risk.
And it's not just about the banks getting ready. There's direct help for businesses like yours, too. Take the Halal Green and Beyond program, GHB. That pilot has RM15 million allocated under Budget 2025. It offers financial help for getting green certifications, buying energy-efficient equipment, supporting that green transition directly. But here's the bit really relevant for us today. The program specifically includes capacity building and carbon accounting tools to help you measure your GHG emissions. It's practical support.
And looking broader, there are other significant support mechanisms too. B&M has increased funding for things like the high-tech and green facility, helping businesses adopt green tech, and the agri-food facility for sustainable agriculture. That's up to RM 6.2 billion total now. They've also boosted the microenterprises facility to RM 1 billion. So even smaller businesses can get funds for their green journey. It shows a clear commitment across the board from the financial sector.
Okay, so we've covered the why, the what, the standards, the support system. But the big question for you listening is probably still, how do I actually get this expertise? How do I make sure my company is ready, competitive, not just compliant? This is where practical, expert-led training comes in. It's absolutely vital.
Precisely. It really comes down to applying this knowledge. And that's why we strongly recommend looking into the MPC workshop on carbon accounting and GHG inventories. This isn't just a talk, it's a proper, comprehensive workshop designed to give you that solid foundation we've discussed. It's happening from the 25th to the 27th of August, 2025. That's a Monday to Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, held at the Majestic Hotel in Kuala Lumpur. It's based directly on ISO 140641. Covers the core principles, developing your inventory, setting boundaries, data quality, reporting best practices. It's designed to give you that fundamental understanding you need to navigate this hands-on.
And maybe you want to take that knowledge and really apply it. Get your hands dirty in a real-world context. Then there's the GHG Certificate of Practice Site-Based Training. This one offers practical certification in GHG quantification right on site. It's scheduled for the 8th to the 10th of September 2025, again Monday to Wednesday, and is taking place at University Technology Sarawak, UTS, in Cebu. This session is all about applied training, fieldwork, guided by an experienced supervisor. Imagine gaining those practical on-site skills for quantifying GHGs accurately. That's essential for real-world data collection and reporting. It's where theory really meets practice. So there you go, 2 clear, structured options designed to give you that shortcut to being really well-informed, really capable, without getting overwhelmed trying to figure it all out yourself. These skills will directly help you understand, measure, and, importantly, manage the potential costs tied to carbon emissions. We really encourage you to check these out. Sign up now. Your company's future sustainability and its financial health could really benefit.
Just to quickly recap then, understanding carbon accounting, developing solid GHG inventories. These aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. They are absolutely critical for Malaysian businesses navigating today's landscape. Proactively getting this knowledge through structured, practical training, like those workshops, is genuinely key. Key to future readiness, resilience, and staying competitive.
And one final thought for you to take away and consider. Beyond just meeting compliance rules or managing costs, what surprising new business models, what really powerful competitive advantages might your company unlock by becoming a leader in carbon accounting and sustainability right here in Malaysia? Think about it, it's not just about avoiding risk, it's about the incredible opportunities you could seize.